Brené Brown says that the opposite of belonging is fitting in. And I'm here at Melina's house, and behind me is a big canvas painting I made 20 years ago, and over there is a watercolour I did 15 years ago, and upstairs are her children sleeping, and I'm sleeping on a mattress on the floor in the study, and I belong here with them. This is the sort of belonging that I crave in the UK as well. I have very few places like here. During the course, I did NaNoWriMo, where I wrote 50,000 words on a new thing that was always about the sea, because I can't not write about the sea. But it was also about what's the meaning of a girl, what is power, what's religion, what's the meaning of words, and the big books that change our lives or have changed the course of history, like the Bible. So this is very much a book. It's become a book that takes place by the edge of the sea in a religious community, and it's sort of in between life and death, and the sea and a lighthouse near it. And so that's the introduction, and I'd like to read to you a part of a chapter that's called In Reverse, which is at the end of the book. So it's a bit of spoiler alert if I ever finish it, as if I ever finish anything. And it's called In Reverse. It's my main character, who's not called Eve, so the working title of the book at the moment is The Unquieting of Not Eve. So here we go. In reverse. A lighthouse in reverse is a light well. A glow tower in reverse is a glow shaft. An illumination in reverse is a pit. I fell, and I fell far, and I fell deep, but I did not fall fatal. Oh my, had been an opening to him. Surprise mistaken for an invitation, and my no, an opening, a door slam funeral. I fell, and I fell, and I fell. And I should have landed, and that should have been it. It should have been it. When an octopus swallows a lighthouse, it becomes an illumination, a brilliant dark place, and when a pit swallows a brilliant girl, it becomes something else. I'm not much a girl, and with that such limitations, but I am bright. I know this. Perhaps not as brilliant as an octopus, but for a girl, brilliant for a girl. And when a pit swallows a girl, bright and brilliant, or bright or brilliant, she becomes something else. I became something else. I fell, and I fell deeply. But I fell, but I still have light in me. Deep light and imploding light, perhaps, but light all the same. I've read somewhere that a supernova is the last and most beautiful act of a dying star. I've read about it, I can't remember where, but I felt it deeply inside me, the story of supernovas. Some nights I sneak out onto the roof outside my window and I look up at the stars. Sometimes I sneak out at night onto the roof outside my window and I crawl down the tree and I sit in the middle of the garden and I look at all the stars. Or I look at all the stars I can see. There are more, I think. Well, I know. I read somewhere that there are more stars and planets than we can count. Sometimes I try. Sometimes I look up and I count as fast as I can. Sometimes I sneak out at night onto the roof outside my window. I crawl down the tree and I sit or lie in the middle of the lawn. But sometimes I walk past the place I usually sit. When I sit or I lie in the middle of the lawn and I walk through the gorse onto the dunes where there is no light from prying eyes or houses, and I lay like I do in winter, making angels in the snow. I lay angel in the sand dunes, looking up and watching the stars in the deep sky, and I'm held. We're told darkness is hiding all things evil and that dark souls await for little girls there, but there has not been a single night where I have not lain looking up at the skies, at the stars and the moon, and not felt safe. Even when I have not been able to see them, the stars, I've heard them singing their songs to me, or someone else, or all of us. It doesn't matter. I'm happy to be a spectator amongst many to their performance. There's no evil in the sky. The only evil I've known has walked land, not clouds. Besides, no night is the same anyway. They cannot all be spectacular. I say that, but I do not mean it. To me, no night is the same, yet all nights are spectacular. And there's something in that. I feel like I'm still falling, though I know I'm not, but I was. I fell and I fell and I fell, and it felt like I was falling into a starry sky. Those nights, when I climbed out of my window onto the roof and made my way with all the crawls, the climbs and the steps and the jumps fleet and hard, made my way to the dunes, those nights where I was lying angel under the symphony of stars. They were extra magical. The wing of amber from moon and stars, the shimmer, sparkle and glint, their language of its own. In Morse code, perhaps, or other sorts of codes, possibly. I did not understand it at all, but I could no more stop myself listening than I could stop breathing, and I have tried. I did try, the last thing. But it doesn't work like that. One does not get to choose a lot of things. I realize that. I've realized it before too, and it's not just girls. When it comes to breath, we do not get to choose just by holding it in. There has not been a single time where I have lain there, face lioness, where I have not seen a star tumble out of breath. At least one. A falling star is an omen of both both bad and good enough, Mother says. She does not say good, she says good enough, but I do not believe her. The stars do not hold bad inside them. They are not Eves. There is no original sin for them to battle with, sinful urges to hold at bay, and they have not Bibles to read to them, or men tell them what they feel, so how can they be good or bad or good enough? No men, no God, no Bibles, no sin. Stars are, and that is it, until they're not. A supernova is a star at the end of its time. The rupture so close has only one more thing to do, one last thing, and the thing is more than good enough. Not bad, not good enough. It is pure radiance, vivid with wonder. Sin-free indulgence. The last thing a supernova does is to rupture and radiate itself, throw and blow itself as wide and as bright as it possibly can in one huge explosion. A dandelion, seeds dry, ready to be blown and carried. Have you tried it? Have you tried it? To blow as hard as you can on a dry dandelion, blowing upwards, aiming for the sun, blinding yourself, wishing them all to soar, wishing them freedom, sun and wind, and your deepest breath, release, redemption, abandon. Have you tried that? I have. And they do almost look like stars when their little feathers glint and twinkle against the sun. They are beautiful. They are beautiful, but they're not supernovas. When a supernova explodes, it's neither star nor not. And then, when there before was a glint and glimmer in the sky, Morse blinking codes speaking to me, I'm sure, but also to others, perhaps, I do not know, there is now a hole. No, not a hole. A space that moments before was filled by a star and then was filled by explosion of lights, and then there was nothing. But nothing is something too. I should know. And there are no holes in the universe, I don't think so anyway, but what do I know really? I'm just a girl who fell and fell. I'm just a fallen girl who spilled into a pit slowly at first, a drop and a drip of a foot, and perhaps I knew this torrent of air unfilled did not come to me tamed. I let myself wild. Like a star, I fell, and I fell, and I waited for my final explosion. I am a supernova, I thought. And I'll stop there. Anyways, that's too long. I'm sorry.